everybody, thanks for tuning in to another D6 Pack video. Today I'm going to be going over the rules for Welcome To by Blue Cocker and Deepwater Games. And this is going to be a little bit of a special one because this is one that you can play along with us too. We are going to be doing that live on Twitch Tuesday, April 16th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. If you are interested in doing that, all you're going to need is the score sheet, which is downloadable from Blue Cocker's website. You can find a link to that in the comments below. And other than that, we will have the cards that you can play off from. If you appreciate this video, we would also appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and follow us on any of our social media at D6Pack Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch for updates on when you can see us playing future games like this. And with that, let me get to the rules. So this is a pretty simple game. This is all there is to the setup. There's 3 gold cards set out in different generations, and then there are 3 decks of 27 cards each placed out on the board with their number side face up, and then 1 card from each deck is flipped to the other side, and each player gets a score sheet. As for gameplay, it's fairly simple. You have a choice of taking one of 3 combinations. So if this were the first turn, you could take a 3 and a park, or a 7 and a real estate agent, or a 13 and a temp agent. What you are going to do with that combination is the first thing is you have to write this number in one of the houses in ascending order. So you will never have the same number written on a street that's already been written, with a slight exception which I'll come back to in a minute. In addition to writing the numbers, each of the type of cards associated with that number is going to have a special effect. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there is a little symbol in the corner of the number side of the card so that you can kind of see what's coming up next. But each of these has a different effect. So for example, the park has to be written in the same row that the number is being written, and you will just cross off the lowest value of park in that street, and at the end of the game you will get the lowest number of points that's uncovered for that street, and that'll be written into your park score. The real estate agent, every time you use one of those, you get to cross off one of the numbers in this real estate agent row. You're always going to be crossing off the lowest number or the highest in each column. So the more you cross off, the more each of those rows or columns is going to be worth. Then the temp agency, you are going to be crossing off these spaces, and this is going to be a majority space. So whoever has the most of these crossed off at the end of the game is going to get 7 points, second most will 4, and third most will get 1 point. Then we have the pool, which is going to be written into one of these houses that has a planned pool space. It doesn't have to be, but you will get points, and only get points if you do so. So you could just write the 6 wherever you want, but if you write it in a house that has a planned pool, you additionally get to cross off one of these pool spaces, starting with the lowest number first and going down. So depending on how many pools you have built at the end of the game will determine how many points you'll get. The fences are going to be important for achieving the goals. So for example, this goal says that you have to get 6 properties that are enclosed into one space. So you have to write a number in a house first, and then you have to draw fences on either side of that house. The natural street boundaries are a fence that you don't have to build. It's already considered built, but if you wanted to do it all on one street, you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you would have completed that goal. The first person to complete each goal gets the higher point value. Once they've done so, that card will get flipped over, and then everyone else after that can only receive the lower point value for that card. The final type of effect that you can use is a business, which is the card that I said would allow you to duplicate numbers in the same row. You will have to write it directly next to the value that you want to duplicate, and you'll write a small business in there to show that you've used that effect and that you're not cheating. That is the only way that you'll be able to duplicate those numbers, but every time you do that, that is going to increase the amount that is deducted from your score at the end of the game. So you are crossing off the lowest value every time you use a business, and whatever you end up with at the end of the game is subtracted from your score. If you are unable to write any of these numbers in your row without breaking the rules, you will write nothing, and you'll scratch off one of these building permit refusal spaces. And at the end of the game, whatever the highest or the lowest value uncovered will also be deducted from your score. Additionally, there's an advanced variant where if you want to continue writing numbers, but you've just messed up your street so badly that you can't continue on, you have the option of writing in 2 roundabouts somewhere in your game board. However, those are also going to be negative points, which are deducted from your score at the end of the game. The game continues until either one player has received 3 building permit refusals, one player has completed all 3 of the goals. It doesn't have to be the highest point value, they just have to have been completed. Or one player has filled in all of the houses on their game board. At that point, you will total up your scores for each of these sections, and whoever has the most points wins. So that's it for this game. It's pretty simple. I would call it a roll and write, but you're not actually rolling anything. You're just kind of flipping these cards over. It's fun. It's simple. The city building aspect of it is a unique twist on the game, and I really appreciate that. The card usage in a roll and write style game is unique, and that makes this one a little bit refreshing from the oversaturation of other roll and write games that have been coming out. Not to say that they're all bad, but I really enjoy this one, and I'm excited to see some of the expansions that are also coming out for this one. We probably won't play with those on Tuesday, but in the future, if we can get score sheets for you guys to play with us on, then we may use some of those expansions as well. They're each holiday themed, something Adrienne and I just recently got in the mail, so we would be willing to show those off on the stream, but I don't think you can get the score sheets for those yet, so those will have to wait to actually play. But I really enjoy this game. I appreciate hearing what your thoughts on the game might be, so reach out to us on any of our social media for that. Also, please join us on Twitch tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to play the game with us. You can reach out to us on any of those at D6 Pack Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or Twitch. And with that, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.